Start whenever you want. Raise questions.
Where are we here?
This war is like nothing Gaza has experienced before. It's hell on earth. Looking back on my footage for the first time, I don't know how we survived this. These are my friends, my neighbors, my relatives, and people that I lived with them for 30 years. This is Gaza.
If you were describing everyday life in Gaza, where would you start?
I would start to being born in Jabalia camp as a refugee camp for a refugee family and take it from there. When people hear the word camp, the imagination they had is a camp or tents. No, it's a city within a city.
Well, here I am, Yousef Hammash. Never left Gaza, so I'm very Gazan. So let me give you a tour.
تعال يوسف.
تعطيني حب فراولة.
Jabalia is not a geographic place, it's more of symbolic things. An identity, it became an identity. We have a connection that you'll never find it somewhere else. And if you have a wedding, all the camp will be in that wedding. It's like a feast of food and people celebrating and you feel the love around. Because we are thirsty to enjoy and have joy. Whenever we had anything to celebrate it, we go really extreme with it. So I'm married now since 7-8 years. I had 2 children now. I have Ilya, 6 years old, then Ahmed, 3 years old. And I could say I made it to have a decent job in an international organization with a decent salary. 1 month before everything happened and this madness started, I bought my new house by the sea. That's the best thing you will ever had in Gaza, to have that view of the sea. And then, suddenly, 32 years of building and finding a path to succeed and establish a life just disappeared. At 6:30 in the morning, my wife woke me up that something's happening, there is huge bombs, and I was like, no, maybe it's a storm. I read in the news that there is a change of the weather. That's the first thing came to my head, or at least what I wanted to convince myself with, because I didn't want war. I ran into the window and I saw that Audi white car with a yellow plate. This is an Israeli car that I see in front of my house. And I remember seeing 2 people were pulled out of the car. 2 people I don't know in a really bad situation being pulled out, and they ran with them into my building. So I went directly to my phone, checked the news, and this is the first thing I saw. Not even my bad nightmares, man, that I imagined this will happen. Not even in a nightmare, man. At that moment, I felt that this is going to be bad for us and for them. We all know that's going to be bad. But not that bad.
It's an entire nation that is responsible, and we will fight until we break their backbone.
אני אומר לתושבי עזה, צאו משם עכשיו, כי אנחנו נפעל בכל מקום ובכל העוצמה.
The only thing I was thinking about is that I have to move from here. I have to run for my life. So I took my wife and my children and we went to Jabali camp, to my grandparents' house.
What do you think would have happened to you if you hadn't made that decision to leave immediately?
And I wouldn't be here. Where I lived, after I fled, was tank shelling, like continuous tank shelling. They bombed the first 2 floors above my apartment, but then after that they destroyed the entire building. When Hamas did that suicide mission, they forgot they're responsible for 2 million people. If you want to go and commit a suicide mission like that one, why you take me with you? We were thrown in front of a beast, a really aggressive beast. And we were like small cats, like what we can do, we have some cameras. It's film. Send the footage out. People will see it, they react. I will save my family.
This is Gaza City, the center of Gaza City, where people used to consider safe. There is no place safe in Gaza, you see? Destruction is everywhere. Where the people can go.
Banning and international journalists entering Gaza gave us more responsibility because it's only us. I don't mind taking the risk because it's my people. This was the biggest catastrophe I saw up to that day.
Here we are at the center of Jabalia camp. An Israeli airstrike killing more than 50 Palestinians in one of the largest camps in Gaza City.
This is my place.
This is where you live.
This is where I live. This is my place.
Situation is unimaginable. You have to be here to understand what's going on.
Just look for a child removed under the rubble. He wasn't even crying. He doesn't even believe that he's alive. I was shocked when they pulled him out under all these. It's 6th-floor building. "85 people were killed in that attack. These are my friends, my neighbors, my relatives, and people that I live with them for 30 years. It just, they've been at the wrong place at the wrong time. that dead body, I kept filming him because I know him. I know this guy personally. This man used to be full of life. From the Israeli perspective, they want to kill one person, and the collateral damage is 100. They don't even put it as an equation, they just do it. It's a father who was injured, and his child was killed. So they brought him to the morgue behind the hospital just to say goodbye for his child. That was the first scene I see a father with his child, which completely affected me. But I kept seeing that on a daily basis until I became numb somehow. Oof. That night, after releasing the first report, I understood that everything changed. I was really glad that I could reach that amount of people, but on the other side, it turns my life upside down. I think it pissed some people off, among them Israeli civilians. Were calling me all the night, insulting me with really bad Arabic words about me, my wife, my sisters. We'll kill you, we'll kill your children. And I was all the night next to my wife and my 2 children, just like, every 5-10 minutes, I receive another call, Even if the Israelis killed me, targeted me, whatever, what's going to be the consequences for that? Simply nothing. It's not the first time that Palestinians were abandoned in such a horror situation. 2004, 2008, 2009, 2012, 2014, 2018, 2019, 2021. The history didn't start on October 7th. We have a long experience dealing with the Israeli army.
אנחנו מטילים מצור מוחלט על העיר עזה. אין חשמל, אין מזון, אין מים, אין דלק. הכל סגור. אנחנו נלחמים בחיות אדם ואנחנו נוהגים בהתאם.
That announcement just made our life as 2 million people extremely impossible. Our water is from the Israelis, our fuel for the electricity is from the Israelis, the fuel itself is through Israel, our goods is through Israel. It's clear that everything will be consumed in 1 or 2 days.
עובדים בערבית, כל יום שהחטופים אצלם, שכונה מושמדת, על יושביה, אין משהו אחר. אם מישהו רוצה לדבר איתי על זה שאני אכזרי, שיקרא לי אכזרי.
אין בתים, אין חקלאות, אין כלום, אין להם עתיד.
מה נפתיע? Gaza.
Entire neighborhood were living. All what you see is destruction.
عشان نرضى ظهور نتنياهو ويبين حاله انه بطل على حساب دم الشعب الفلسطيني. دمر بيوتنا بدون سابق انذار، بدون ما يقول لنا، بدون ما ينبهنا الساعة 10 في الليل واحنا نايمين. ظلنا زي المجانين. هاي اللي ضل لي، هاي اللي ضل لي في دار.
It's really exhausting that people under bombardment all the night and the early morning, they are digging, trying to rescue people. So everyone's trying to help. Because you don't know, you might be next and you will need people to help you.
محمد تعال يا محمد تعال. ايش في تحت؟ ايش في تحت؟ في اطفال جوا كله.
This family was being displaced from Beit Hanun 1 day before. They displaced this family to their relative in Jabalia, and the next day they were dead.
لا اله الا الله، اللهم يا رب لنا الصبر يا الله يا رب.
بالكم في النكف الثاني في مرة
في البنت هناك كمان.
طفل ولا مرة؟
And you're talking about 7 years old, 5 years old, less than 10 years old or that.
بس وخلاص النتفة ركز على النتفة هذه بنسحبها احنا، فاهم علي؟ تعال من يمينك، ايوه من يمينك بس.
You can see her head on the pillow. She's sleeping. She was just sleeping. All of them sleeping peacefully.
ماشي صح، انت توكل على الله. ايوه افصل لي اياه عن سيخ الحديد، بس افصل لي اياه عن سيخ الحديد.
الولد الصغير يمكن الحين صار سيل تطلعه.
هات يا عم.
هات عم. That's
يا عم احنا
انا بدي اخليه عم نطلع ابوه بس.
لا اله الا الله،
الله يرحمه يا جماعه.
حطه بالشام يا عم.
الحين بدي احط سيبه بس خليه
طفل يا عم. طفل.
I kept walking with him for a really long time. I just
يا رب انتقم منهم يا رب. ايش ذنب هذا الطفل؟ ايش عملوا لهم هذا الطفل؟ ايش ذنبه يا الله؟ لا اله الا الله. الله يرحمك يا محمد، باقي يقول في الششقه منه في الحاره هذا الولد. لا اله الا الله يا رب انتقم منهم. يا رب انتقم منهم. لا اله الا الله.
خليه يصور خليه يصور.
صور، خلي العالم يشوف. خلي يشوف العالم ايش.
see. This is the difference. At the beginning, people were honestly show the world what's going on. Let them see. Now, it's issues that we lost the faith. You are exposed to this scene, not on a daily basis, on a minute basis, man.
Lost the faith in what?
Humanity.
الله يرحمك يا محمد. حبيبي يا محمد. حبيبي يا محمد.
Everything changed when we've been asked to flee from the north to the south. That's a new, different era. Nothing is more humiliating than displacement, and no one wanted to do it at the beginning. Why should they? It's basically give you a flashback for 1948 directly when you see the scene. It's the new Nakba. I used to listen to these stories from my grandfather about how they have been exiled. It's just stories that we were hearing for years and years and years. And now we are the stories itself. We're talking about 2 million people are under evacuation orders, constant evacuation orders on a daily basis, without any solution on the horizon. This is the curse of being born as Palestinian. You are just in a constant move. That's exactly who we are.
العيلة المشردة. هاي يما قولي هاي.
When I left Jabalia, I saw how many people are fleeing. That was really hard on me. I didn't want to leave anyone behind, and if we died together. We survived together.
الأحمد يقول شوف نتمرمط قاعدين عايزين الحالة يا كلاب.
كلنا كنادر. ايش الفرق بين الهجرة اللي قلتوا الهجرة زمان؟ على السيارات. الله يسترنا ونوصل بسلام.
ليش ابتكار بتعيط ليه؟
عياط جماعة يا جماعة يلا يا هبة.
We have been ordered to flee to the south, following a specific route. The only road we can use is Salah ad-Din Street.
السماء ناس تمشي وسيارات مئات السيارات آلاف السيارات.
So I drove fast to be in front of the car. Just after passing it, they bombed it. It was so hard for me even to comprehend what's going on. This is when we arrived to my relatives. First meal as a family. This is all my family.
الذكرى افتخار. There is other people in the other room.
For me, that's a precious moment, and I don't think it will happen again in years, but I will keep pushing for that. That's my family.
But you were responsible for all of these people throughout the war.
Yes, until
you
now.
had to keep all of these people safe, shelters, fed.
It was a huge responsibility. When a city, small city or a town, used to have 150 to 100,000 citizens, 300 maximum, in one day they have 1 million. The infrastructure of Khan Yunis couldn't deal with this. I was in a different shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I had a barber at that time. It's just basically we have been sent back 1,000 years. It's like we go back the Stone Ages. Imagine when we have only 2 farmers planting aubergine and another one planting tomato, and you have 1.5 million are waiting for these 3 people.
لا والله غير صحي. أقول لك صحي بغير صحي أبدا. لا الدخن ولا الغبار وزي ما أنت شايف الوسخ من حوالينا من كل ناحية. يعني لو رجعت لورا بتلاقي هنا حطب، هنا مية وهنا مجاري وهنا يعني الوضع غير صحي كليا يعني. يعني الكل صار صايح من معدته، يعني الأطفال أولادنا الصغار بصيحوا لبات بيقولوا بدنا طبيخ، بدنا شوربة، بدنا لحمة. بدنا طبيخ على قلته عدس، لو طبيخ عدس انه تكون لقمه مبلوله.
These 4 green pepper now will cost you $400 just to have that. And for a Gazan, we cannot eat without that.
تاكل؟ والله سخنه. نعم. المفروض اعمل له اكل غير المطلع.
No one is looking for Palestinians who are trapped in Gaza as human beings. And you look for the basic human rights that anyone have on this planet, and how we been deprived from that, and in a way that we are looking for it as an achievement. That's a mosque in London. This is the first time I listened to calling for prayer since October 7th because it just bombed every mosque we had. I'm Muslim, but I always had really good connections with Christian community in Gaza, and I think people doesn't know that there is Christians in Gaza. Father Yousef, I really like this guy. I really miss him. These are my friends, man. I know all of these people. This church, Perfirius, the Orthodox Arab community in Gaza. These stones in the church is older than Europe. These are thousands of years old. We have Christians and Muslims seeking shelter.
عاملين حاجة. أنا أول ناس خشيت جوا الكنيسة أنقذ حتى لو كانوا مسيحية. إيش يعني ما تمش إشي، ما تمش حاجة. اليهود ما خلوش فيها معيار، ما تمش.
يلا 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 اقعد.
يلا اقعد.
The amount of tank shelling for the area and around it, and even inside the place itself, was shocking. I remember when they bombed this massive building next to the Orthodox building, and they hit a flat, an apartment.
ارجعوا. في حد يا جماعة؟
يا بنات مين؟
شباب، في بنت بتحكي امها وابوها على الدور الاول. على الدور الاول تعالوا. عمو خفيش؟ انت بخير؟ الحمد لله الحمد لله الحمد لله.
انا بدي اهلي يكونوا معي.
والحمد لله.
وانت؟ امك منيحة؟
امك منيحة. امك تمام؟ بس ايش هم قالوا انه رجلك مخبوطه فبدنا مصعب بدنا مصعب بس مصعب اللي ينزلها دكتور ينزلها دكتور ينزلها عمي دكتور ينزلها هاي بابا جاي عمو لا بابا الدكتوره اليوم مظبوط.
Imagining there is 1 million child in Gaza are exposed to all of this horror on a daily basis. They had to build a new tent outside the hospital yard just for dead bodies. In the north especially, as a response to retaliation for October 7th, they just wiped out families. He's showing his brother a picture on the phone, and he's asking if someone saw his dead body.
الحمد لله. شوف بالمشي ان شاء الله بيكون مش موجود.
We are not prepared to lose all of our loved ones. These small legs explain for you a lot. These are 4 children. Two girls, 2 boys, 1 family. Just children, man.
عصافير هذول عصافير الله يرحمهم.
If you are a human being sitting anywhere outside Gaza and you saw children suffering and going through all these circumstances and don't feel it, then you are not a human, and I'm not proud if they even watch my footage. I don't want them to see. Because this is inhuman. Nights in Gaza during this war is longer. You have to just listen all the night for this bombing around and the shake of the house. Just trying to check where is that bombing. This is the nights for us. And the best coping mechanism with these nights is to have people around. ليش بتخربش علي؟
هيك.
ليش هيك؟
هيك.
ليش هيك؟ Ahmed is not in the age to understand. All the time I was out filming. Whenever I come back, he's like, take me out.
زنك ايه؟ تروح على الشارع؟ ليش بدك تروح على الشارع؟ في قصف برا، في حرب، بوف بوف بوف.
But Edie understood.
أنت بتخافش؟
She surprised me when she understood the difference between a drone rocket and a tank shelling.
أنت بتخافي؟ والله.
I don't think any child on this planet should be aware of this. I didn't decide to be born and raised in Gaza, but I decided for them. For many times, I'm honest, I regret. This is in Khan Yunis. I was waiting in a queue for bread. I had to go early morning because if you went late, you might not catch the queue. It takes you hours, so you have to go really early. They bombed this clinic. Always where I go, I found children. People are digging here, trying to pull them out. And then they found that then they take us out, all of us, because they heard the girl, she's alive. And this is the girl. Marah. The building collapsed on them. Her uncle was covering her, so she was under his body. He saved her. 9 years old. Her father passed away a few years. Now her mother and her aunt and her uncle and her 2 young brothers. So now she's part of the people, the children who have no one. What next? For her.
A ceasefire between Hamas and Israel is due to come into effect right now.
والله الدنيا حلوة هيك بدون ست زمانات. فرحت كتير أنا كمان والله فرحت كتير.
When we had the news about a truce, and I was like, at least I can sleep.
Under the truce, a total of 50 Hamas hostages will be released in exchange for 150 Palestinian prisoners.
We believed that this will lead for an end, but unfortunately, everyone failed us.
Israel resumes the bombing of Gaza and tells the 2 million Palestinians there to move again to an even smaller, supposedly safe area.
There's no other options. Either to move for a tent or stay under this bombing in Khan Yunis. So I had to make a decision and go to Rafah. Over 1 million people moved there.
كم مرة صرتوا نازحين؟
3 مرة.
عمركم تروحوا على فين؟
رفح.
إلك حدا في رفح؟
Rafah was kind of the final step inside Gaza. It's like there is no more. After that, you have the Egyptian border. The reality was, yeah, we are going to live in tents. It's different. There is no doors anymore. There is no windows. There's no privacy.
شاف المنطقة كيف؟ وين نظافته؟ بس ايش بدي اعمل؟ مضطرة الاولاد لهم 4 أيام من غير اكل. مضطرة اني اعملهم.
بزنوا ليل نهار بدهم ياكلوا.
I really love this guy.
أول خبزة من 3 أيام هذه على المية بدون أكل. هاتي هنا ريكي. بدك تعطيه خالتك؟ كلميها. سلمي ايديك. كيف طعم عمك؟ عشان هيك بدها تحكي لك انه هي طالبة مدرسة وبتعرف تقرا وتكتب في مدرسة جمعيتنا أطفالنا للصم عند جامع فلسطين.
People access to their basic needs became less and less and less. You start to see the consequences and the impact on people's mental health. We are talking about a population who was 50% of it before the war was really in humanitarian need. 50%. And then this war started. They destroyed every hospital, every school, every education place. The starvation was the most effective weapon have been used, but pushed everyone into a verge of madness.
בלי רעב וצמא אצל האוכלוסייה העזתית לא נצליח לגייס משת"פ, לא נצליח לגייס מודיעין, לא נצליח לשחד אנשים באוכל, בשתייה, בתרופות.
The Israelis, they can do more, they must do more to let aid in.
People who are desperate and in need would do anything. And if I was in their situation, I would do the same. People were fighting for nothing. Every time I had to go to the bakery, I had to witness 2 or 3 fights between people. Serious fights. I witnessed people getting killed in a queue of water.
It was the IDF that was responsible for safely delivering these vital supplies. But we found they opened fire on unarmed, starving Palestinians at close range as the aid arrived.
It was a famine. People couldn't find anything. They were competing with animals to share their food.
تزايد يعني شديد بأعداد الحالات اللي بتتوافد على مستشفى كمال عدوان بسبب المجاعة وبسبب سوء التغذية.
יש לחץ בינלאומי והוא גובר אבל דווקא כשהלחץ הבינלאומי גובר, אנחנו צריכים לצופף את השורות בינינו. אנחנו חייבים לעמוד יחד מול הניסיונות לעצור את המלחמה.
My family really started to have a serious conversations about leaving Gaza a few weeks after we went to Rafah. Because the amount of violence that took place in that place pushed us into a point that there is no coming back. You destroyed everything. It became a responsibility for my children, my family. Otherwise, I would never leave that place. That place, it represents me, it represents Yousef, Gaza, the Gazan Yousef. I'm nobody outside of Gaza. 32 years of my life have been deleted. I don't have it anymore. And even as memories, I cannot enjoy it anymore. If I talk about my life there, it ends up at 777. If I talk about my job there and the films I did before, or my work, or my relations, or my friends, or my relatives, anything, it will lead you to October 7.
There is another video circulated in social media.
I'm in London, in the West, in the civilization, the civilized world. And I don't get it, how they allow all of this to happen. For me, I have a duty towards what's going on in Gaza, and my duty is to keep the story told.
Our children were killed. Our children turned into pieces.
After that, he says, we are begging. He says, I had only one child.
Yes, he said only one. I had one child. I didn't live. He said that you felt that it's too much for me to have a child. He was 3 years and a half. They killed him.
God, poor man.
It's not easy being here. My team and my friends and relatives are there. Now look for Jabalia. There is no Jabalia anymore.
After weeks of Israel's offensive on northern Gaza, there's been an intensification of the assault on the Jabalia refugee camp, rooting out, say, Israeli Defense Forces, Hamas fighters.
And as that was happening, not far away in southern Israel, settlers held a 2-day event.
When the Jewish nation comes to resettle the land, we have to clean it out. So right now, we're taking out the infection.
That scene for people being pushed out of Jabalia and that massive destruction was on the top of these things that break me as a human being. Most of the footage that I was dealing with is for people I know. I was seeing my relatives around among the crowds. I have every day a news about someone who was killed.
يا اختي
يا اخو
ايش الوضع؟ ايش فيه؟ ايش صاير؟
I was receiving news about my cousin. Such a nice person. Have a sense of humor always whenever we meet.
لقيت أنا كنت أشوف إيش صار مع سامر. سامر هذا باقيين ينادي يقول اطلعوا وبالكواد كبتر يطخوا عليهم لازم تطلع هالجيت وكله يخلي وكله يطلع. فهو لسه بيطلع من الدار وقف على الشارع بيستنى في ولاده هو ومرته واقفين. رموا عليهم قذيفة كتفتتهم كلهم 15 واحد استشهدوا ومرته اجتها إصابة بالحوض وكل جسمها مليان فضايع. ولاد اللي ساكنين بدهم يطلعوا من الدار، ففي واحد من ولاد أخذ أصابعهم مقطعين.
المشكلة يا أختي إنه بقول للناس يطلعوا بنفس الوقت اللي بيطلع من داره بقتلوه، يعني محدش فاهم مش يعني.
ما هو الواحد ماما حتى لو ضلوا بدارهم قاعدين بيرموا قدايم. الوضع كثير صعب. هم طالعين بدون واحنا ماشيين بدهم إياه بياخذوه، بدهم مش إياه بطبخوه. حاسة حالي بحضر فيلم. مش طبيعي الإشي اللي بصير، ليش ما هنتبع؟
أنا عارف يا أختي.
أنا خايفة يجينا الدور.
إن شاء الله لا، افترض الأحسن.
رسمي الواحد بطل تعمل فيه.
إلا ما تنحل يا أختي.
إن شاء الله.
مش مشكلة.
راح كلهم دوكة بيتقاتلوا عليه كلهم، مش دخلنا احنا.
مصير. بسيطة يا أختي، إلا ما تنحل إن شاء الله.
إن شاء الله.
What's next for you?
What next for me? I don't think I have the right to think about the future and what next for me before I understand what's going to be happen to my people and my place. There's a million child who've been witnessing that continuous killing on a daily basis for 14 months. But still, the West is supplying weapons for the Israeli government. What kept us just adapting and finding solutions is a sense of hope we had, just a glimmer of hope that one day someone will be rational and realistic and say that's wrong. It's for the West itself to look with the eyes of humanity for us as Palestinians.